Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. And as we do every day around about this time, we take a look at some of the top stories making the headlines in Israel. And today's top story, in fact, is just a couple of hours old, and that is that Britain has banned Hizbollah. Now, Hizbollah, that are based in Lebanon and are Iranian-sponsored, was previously had their military wing blacklisted by the British government. But as of today, there will be legislation passed that will ban their political wing as well as their military wing. And these are reasons, as the British Foreign Minister indicated. He said that Hizbollah are disrupting stability in the whole region and that they also pose a threat to all. And he says it's the priority of his government to keep their citizens safe and to ensure that there is no regional instability. Now, this will come as welcome words to Israel, who have had threats from Hizbollah over the last couple of years, which have intensified over the last couple of months. In fact, Israel has just concluded a very successful Operation Northern Shield, where we have taken out the tunnels that Hezbollah operatives were tunneling in from Lebanon into Israeli territory with the aim of either kidnapping or, even worse, killing Israeli civilians. Now, Hezbollah is sponsored by Iran, and growing tensions between Iran and the Western world. So this is very, very welcome news for all of us who are concerned with Iranian-sponsored terror proxies and their effect that they have on the region. And the other big story making the news today, while we're talking about Iranian-sponsored proxies, is Islamic Jihad based in the Gaza Strip. Now, last night on a documentary in Iran, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, or PIJ, boasted that they were now in possession of missiles and rockets that could hit or could strike into Tel Aviv and beyond. And they backed this up with footage of these rockets and missiles and other projectiles. These rockets and projectiles are Iranian made. In fact, they admitted that these, or rather boasted that these were Iranian made, and you can be sure that the Israeli army, the Israeli security services are watching this development very, very closely, and Israel, as always, will do everything in her power to ensure the protection of civilians. Staying within the region, and a lot of controversy over the last weekend following the alliance between Netanyahu and the far right, especially the Otzma faction. The Otzma faction, which is based on Kahanist values, which is basically named for Jewish strength or Jewish power, is seen to be extreme far right. It's the Israeli equivalent of the far right, and this has drawn round condemnation from major organizations in America, such as the AJC, as the Conference of Presidents of Major American Organizations, as well as AIPAC. And condemnation has gone as far afield as the Australian Zionist Federation. And of course has drawn the ire of many in Israel, and many of us who are watching these elections unfold and the events leading up to it can't help but think that the alliance last week formed by Chosene Israel, headed by Benny Gantz, and Yair Lapid's Yesh Atid party to form Kachol Levan, blue and white, is an answer to try and push out this far-right alliance. Having said that, Kachol Levan have said that should the Likud win and have to form a coalition, they will enter into a coalition. There's a lot of concern in Israel at the moment about the possibility or about the concerns that the country could head to the right. And while we're staying in the region, Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas saying to the EU today that they need to play a more bigger role in brokering peace in the region, and if they want to do that, they need to recognize a Palestinian state. he criticized European Union nations for not recognizing a Palestinian state, and said that if you are serious about two states, you've recognized Israel, now recognize a Palestinian state. But we would caution Mr. Abbas that in 1947, when the option was handed over to the Arabs, they refused to accept a state, preferring instead to declare war on the fledgling Jewish state, which won that war. The results are history and the conflict that we sit with today. So, Mr. Abbas, if you are serious about peace, you yourself will come to the table as well, and you won't boycott peace conferences. So these are the headlines making the news in Israel today. Just a reminder that you can view the awesome and original content by Lay of the Land at www.layoftheland.online. Today you can learn all about how Solcold is using the sun to keep or to use it as a cooling agent. It's not science fiction, it's happening. You can check it out on our website, as well as read all about why Israel Apartheid Week does a great disservice to Palestinians and Israelis. So don't forget to check us out at www.layoftheland.online. You can like us or follow us on Facebook at Lay of the Land or at Lotl site, that's LOTL site. And don't forget, subscribe to the daily edition of the Israel Brief by clicking on the subscribe button below or on the little bell icon that will notify you of new broadcasts. So this is the Israel Brief. I'm Rolene Marks from Lay of the Land, and we will chat again tomorrow.